Hey, you guys. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I'm under a tree. And today I'm going to teach you about raising your vibration in general in your life. Pro tips that I have picked up because I'm always studying this stuff. And I'm a psychologist for the past 20 years. And I help people navigate their spiritual awakening. And all of life is a spiritual awakening. So welcome to yours. You know, even Plato, if you think of the philosopher Plato so long ago, he said that all learning is just remembering. All learning is just remembering. And so I'm just reminding you of what your soul already knows. I'm in the middle of something, so I got to go back, and I just wanted to step out here by one of my favorite trees, but there's still cars around and stuff, so let's just be present. I was reading about this morning, and last night I was reading about the masculine and the feminine, and how, I'm just going to sit down, how we get out of polarity. Oh, it's all wet. All right, so this guy was saying, Jake Woodard, it was just on an email list. I don't know how I got on his email list or who he is, so, but I appreciated what he was saying. He was saying that in our society, sometimes the powers that be or whatever know, some of them know, whether they know or not, don't worry about it. Just understand that when you're out of polarity, if you identify as mostly feminine energy or mostly masculine energy, when you're out of that polarity, when you're not in your true masculine, there was this woman, Erica Elmutz, and all these people, I take parts of their stuff, and some of the stuff I don't agree with, but I just, or I don't follow, or whatever, but whatever. I always try to take the very best, you know? And I was so excited because when I was just at this Tony Robbins event, a week-long event, we were learning all about masculine and feminine for a week. But so what she was saying is, what she calls it is, there's divine feminine and distorted feminine, and there's divine masculine and distorted masculine. And so you're learning, okay, what Jake Woodard was saying was that when you're out of your polarity, you don't magnetize people to you, you know, and you can be more easily manipulated. That's what he was saying, by the powers that be, you know. And I'm not into that. I'm into everyone having the most free will and being the most powerful human beings you can be on this planet. So here are a few pro tips for raising your vibration and for staying in your polarity. What was he saying? Okay, so Jake was saying for men, oh, no wonder I went over by the tree. I didn't know why I was going by the tree today. My intuition just leads me because I let it run so much of my life, you know, is men, all right? He said, one, stop consuming so much trash, and you know what I'm talking about. And he says, and every time you get a little brought high, he said, don't release the plug so often. I'm relaying what a man's saying, okay? But honestly, in all fairness and walking straight here is understanding, you know, because everyone's on your own path, so I'm not here telling you what to do, but he said, imagine yourself, for men, to get more in your masculine core. So just take whatever's best for you, okay? But he says, feel yourself like an oak tree really rooted in the ground. This will help the women around you. It will help women whether you know them or not. It will help us. I can tell you because I can feel it just by, it resonated. And he said at the bottom of his email, I hope this deeply resonated with you. And it deeply, really did. You know, usually I don't even read email list stuff. I am like, unsubscribe, you know, but anyway, he said, men, see yourself like deep oak trees with roots deep in the ground. And when you see the feminine energy or the feminine moving around you, because men are very visual and they see the women, he said, let the feminine energy just flow through your body. You know, don't push it away. But, you know, I don't know. I'm thinking he's meaning you don't have to like overtly sexualize it or something. This is just my translation of what he was saying. And women, right? Women, to get more in your own feminine essence, you know, and really embrace that, is, he said, move, you know, move and you're like water. We are like water. We flow. I identify as feminine essence mostly, and I have to get on my masculine sometimes as for my work and stuff. And but distorted masculine is like, oh, I'm macho and I have to beat you and I have to be better and I have to, run after riches and fame and all this stuff, But divine masculine like protects and loves and is strong and like, is not easily triggered, like works through the trigger, takes self-responsibility. And the divine feminine, distorted feminine, like fights with other girls and just uses sexuality to manipulate people instead of just being in your feminine body. Let things flow. And so what he was giving us, the pro tips, is let yourself flow like water, like Bruce Lee says, flow like water. I used to say that when I'm riding my bike so I don't fall, because I would fall over my handlebars because my seat was too high. I kept saying to myself, it was like a mantra, flow like water, because then I had to go fast enough to keep going down the hill. If I went too slow, I'd fall over. If I went too fast, I'd get out of control. This is a pro tip for life, right? That's why that's coming up. Okay, so women, dance, move, let energy flow through you and express yourself without being embarrassed what you look like or the noise. I was just yelling the other day. If you want to see this, I called it like a throwaway Instagram, but I love it. It's skate, SK, and the number 8, being, because I'm learning how to be on my skates. And I just put SK8 because I like the number 8 a lot. Oh, yeah, Elliot had an album called Figure 8, and the song he wrote for me was on that, Elliot Smith. But 8 is like the infinity sign, and I just love union with divine love. I love that feeling. Okay, so he says, let the energy flow through you. Dance and move your body, because you're like water. And if water, see all this dew right here? If water, look at the stars. I have stars on my pants. I have little kid pants. Look, they change colors. I'm like, oh, I hope anyway, so, move, express yourself. Your water can be like stagnant if it stays still. So like this morning I did 30 minutes of my yoga. Yoga means balance. What we're doing is learning how to create balance in your life, right? And I want to tell you something about that too. I feel like a stand-up comedian, like one thing just segues to the next, but I didn't memorize this, right? But I did write some of it down. Every time, so oftentimes when I'm doing my yoga, I'm in like the hardest pose, it's this twisty thing and I'm holding my arm underneath my leg. I guess I could do it for you. Yeah, might as well, because we're talking about movement, all right? So, but I'll tell you when I'm doing it, right? This is like the opposite of what I do. This is funny, this is great. So, when I'm like this, and then I put my arm down. Oh, no, my arm is underneath. You're not seeing my arm is underneath my leg, like this, when I'm like that, right? Always when I'm like that, or, what is the other pose? The other pose is like this. You can't, here, I'll get closer. You can't see, like, anyway, just, I won't be embarrassed about my body. It looks different when it's up close. And when I'm like this, right? My legs, you may as well see. My legs totally like this. They're gonna be across the street. What are you doing? When I'm like this, right? It's like the hardest pose. Or when I'm like that and my arms in the air and I'm doing the splits with my legs. Always, I want to stop that pose and I'm like, oh, I need to email that person. I need to text that person back. I need to call that person. I need to connect in this way or whatever. It always calls me. Take deep breaths. Feel fine about your body. Even how it looks on camera, because mine looks like 15 pounds bigger on camera. I'm like, what? I'm like a size 2 or a size 4 and I look giant on the camera sometimes, but you just have to let it go, because this video wouldn't come to you unless I had to just let that stuff go and learn, all right? But every time when you're in the middle of the hardest pose, that's funny how it's like, oh, maybe I'll clean my room, do less hard things. And so what I'm saying about that is when you discipline yourself, it's bitter to your flesh. I was reading in an ancient book, you know, from like the 1300s or something, and it was saying it's bitter to your flesh. I'm like, yes, that's what that is. It's bitter to my flesh. Yeah, I'd rather like have, you know, Mr. Right now instead of Mr. Right, but I don't do that, you know, and I won't do that. And if I start going that direction, I stop myself, you know. I'm like, nope, this isn't right for me. This is, you know, everyone are beautiful people, but and so how to raise your vibe, right, is understand that it's important for you to be in your masculine essence and welcome your feminine essence, whatever you are, and learn what the divine feminine and divine masculine are versus distorted. Distorted is how our society is, and learn how to come against some of your quote natural inclinations, not fighting them. And also, okay, so here are the other tips, right, is in the morning every day, take some time to be quiet, to be to observe your thoughts. Don't be taken captive by all your thoughts. That means as you learn how to be quiet, your thoughts can come up and you can see them and observe them and practice noticing that you are the observer of your thoughts, right? Oh, it's just 11:11 on this. Right when a cute guy walked behind me. All right, so you can be the observer. They're always, that's funny. You can be the observer of your thoughts, right? And as you practice doing that, you develop a muscle within yourself that isn't pulled away by any thought or emotion that comes around to you. And then when other people try to influence you in this world, you're already practiced at not buying into every single thought. So let me be present with this noise. We got the work of the tree, so that's good. Thank you, tree, for showing us your roots, right? And then I was showing being rooted in myself. You know, that move is a sort of move of being rooted. And all right, so other tips. Don't worry that I'm moving. I'm just moving away from the noise for us. Is learn how to be really present with yourself. Learn how to love yourself as you are. I know that's easy to say, and it's a little harder to do sometimes for us, because we're conditioned. And so actually what I was saying about in the morning and at night, taking 5 or 10 minutes, if you pray, you can pray, but also part of the prayer can be this practice and discipline of being quiet and letting your thoughts go in front of you, but not being taken in by them. I know this sounds so simple, but this will help you. Also, some other suggestions that people have said that I've been looking at, and I like them. I like them a lot. And this is also bitter to our flesh, is try to go to bed at the same time every night, get 7 or 8 hours of sleep, do exercise every day. That keeps your body not stagnant. That keeps toxins out of your body. Be conscious about what you're eating. Don't beat yourself up about it, but choose to eat healthy. Do things that strengthen your body. You can't see my awesome biceps right now, but I do yoga. I try to do it 5 or 6 days a week so that the energy is flowing through me, and you're also having to take deep breaths when you do that. So take deep breaths. Keep your life full of deep breaths. Keep a spiritual practice where Tony Robbins suggests reading, I think, for 30 minutes or listening to an audiobook 30 minutes a day, because this keeps your mind sharp and keeps you growing in a new direction. So you're not always just bombarded by the world's thoughts or your own thoughts, you know. Your own thoughts can be your own old records that are playing over and over again. So sleeping, eating, be conscious of your thoughts. Understand that your feminine energy or your masculine energy, whoever you are, it's a beautiful thing. And so, like, we're not perfect at this, guys. I keep expecting myself to be perfect at telling people about my class. I don't know how to sell stuff or doing this other thing. Like, divine is our creator, if you believe that. Keep asking the divine to help you in everything, and give your burdens up to the divine. And there's so much more grace and love that can come to you when you surrender to that. So I wish you love. I know this can help you raise your vibes, even how simple it sounds. I wish you so much love. Thank you so much for being here.